Welcome into our In the Money podcast for the 140th edition of the Kentucky Derby. I'm Tom Leach, along with Keeneland's Director of Simulcasting, Jim Goodman, and this podcast exclusively focusing in on the Run for the Roses. And we lost Opportunity on Thursday, but Pablo Del Monte comes in off the AE list, so still a full field of 20 as we tape this. And Jim, how do you see the Derby?
Well, I really hate to pick the favorites. Every year I look at the Derby, and I was kind of hoping California Chrome would draw the one hole so I could toss it. And he didn't. I literally sat here and watched the draw Wednesday and thought, if he draws the 1 or draws the 20, I'm just going to toss him and try to beat him. And he draws the 5 hole, which I think is fine for him. I went back and watched the Santa Anita Derby, and he's the best horse in the race. Now, he may not win. It's a bad bet at 5-2, but I'm going to try to key him on top with a couple other horses we'll talk about here and try to get some value underneath. I just think that he's the best horse, and I think he looks the part. Everybody says he's great. The one thing I don't like is they didn't ship him to Churchill early enough to get a good work in him. So that might be a question mark, but I'm going to take California Chrome on top. My long shot horse was going to be Vickers in Trouble. He drew the 1 hole, so I'm tossing him completely. I don't think you win from the 1 hole unless you've got incredible speed. Wicked Strong I'm not going to like because he drew the 20 hole. So that's the draw for me, and it reinforced my opinion on California Chrome, and it made me toss Vickers in Trouble and Wicked Strong for my strong consideration. My second choice is Samrat. I think he's going to be kind of overlooked in here. He was 5 for 5 going into the wood, and Wicked Strong ran him down and looked very good doing it. But I like the consistency. I think Samrat has proven that he's a quality horse. The wood horses have not done well in the last few years, but I think it was a strong race this time, and I'm going to take Samrat for my second choice. Wildcat Red is my third choice, and off the Grade 1 Florida Derby, if Constitution were in here, I think he'd be the second choice, and I think Wildcat Red, again, might be overlooked. He almost beat Constitution there, who had to drop out of the Derby consideration. Candy Boy is now my long shot play, and Intense Holiday is my fifth choice. He's been working well. It's kind of a sentimental choice for the Louisville connections. I think he's got a shot, but California Chrome on top, key in with Samrat, and then go as deep as you can in the exotics, and that is my Kentucky Derby tip.
I am tossing California Chrome.
I knew that. So for some reason, I knew you were going to do that.
Yeah, I will tell you, in horizontal wagers, I'll definitely have to include him just because he could be just that good. And if you're a buyer guy, he's got 2 buyers that are better than anybody else in the field, and that's a strong buyer angle. I think the Thoroughgraph guys are not as high on him, but I just don't. I'm going to take a stand against him because of the race shape. I think there's so much speed that I'm going to try to beat him at a short price, thinking that this could set up for horses coming from off the pace. And I'm going to take a horse out of the Bluegrass Stakes, Medal Count. I was actually on Wicked Strong most of the month, but the closer I've got to this, I went back and looked at Medal Count's races, including his dirt debut at Ellis last Labor Day weekend. He's got that quick acceleration that he showed in that race on a dirt track that is often a key element in winning the Derby. He's by Dynaformer, so he's bred to run all day. And as we saw in the NCAA basketball tournament, getting good at the right time can take you a long way. And he has gotten good here in the last month. And I think he's the my answer to Charismatic, who ran 3 times between the first weekend in April and the first Saturday in May and won the Derby, and that's what this horse will be doing. So I'm going to take Medal Count. And then the reason I really like kind of focusing in on him is what I'll probably do is maybe play some tries, and I could key him in all 3 slots. I just think at a big price, he's got a good shot to hit the board. I don't think he's any cinch to win. In fact, I liked Wicked Strong a lot, so even though with the 20 hole, I'm not going to let it talk me off of him since I did like him. So he's my number 2 pick, and it's basically a 1 and 1A for me. So I'll use both of those strongest in horizontals. Danza, I just going to use just because he could be really peaking at the right time, and I think the race shape could be favorable for him, but I'm afraid this may be a little too much too soon, but I'm going to throw him in there. Tapiture's a horse I think is going to get overlooked. He's won at Churchill. If you throw out the Arkansas Derby, when they tried to ride him a little differently with a different rider, before that, he was right there with Opportunity, who was going to be the second choice. So I think Tapiture might get overlooked, and so I'll use him, in the third, fourth holes of tickets. And then Candy Boy, you mentioned, I think he's a very playable price horse. There's one other, if somebody's looking for a big price, Vince Ramos. He's one of those horses I think that's going to be coming from the back that could run fourth, maybe even third. Pedigree-wise, I think he can get the 1.25 miles. I just draw a line through the bluegrass, say he didn't like Polytrack, and if you do that, then his form looks pretty good, and he's going to be running late. And if the hot pace does materialize, a horse like that could clunk up and get fourth, maybe even third at a huge price. But Medal Count is the pick for me, and I'll certainly be spreading out in the Oaks Derby double and the pick fours and all of those things. Using multiple horses. As I said, I'll pitch California Chrome in there too on some tickets just in case he is that good. Best of luck to everybody on your Derby wagers. And Jim, we should remind folks, what time does Derby wagering start? Drive-through windows open, that kind of thing on Saturday.
Okay, if you can bet Keeneland Select if you in the comfort of your home or if you're going to be traveling. But if you're out at Keeneland, we have a great Oaks and Derby experience for you. And on Oaks Day and Derby Day, the grandstand windows open at 10 a.m. and the first race for Churchill both days is 10:30. But we have drive-through opportunities here at Keeneland, opening at 8 a.m. on Friday and at 7:30 a.m. on Saturday. And then the Thoroughbred Center is a walk-up betting on Friday at 8 o'clock and Saturday 8 o'clock. And the Kentucky Horse Park off I-75 near Georgetown is handy for people on that side of town, and the drive-through will be open at 8 o'clock on Friday, 8 o'clock on Saturday. So we've got 3 different places you can wager. If you're coming to Keeneland, I would encourage you to park and walk in and wager. We've got plenty of clerks, especially if you're wagering early in the day. We get really busy closer to Derby, obviously. But if you come in the morning, you can park in the shade and walk in and make your bets and get back home. It's really easy to do. So we've got a lot of ways to let you invest your money on Derby Day and Oaks Day.
And the Keeneland Select is a great tip, too, because I always put a little money in there just because even if you're at the Derby, final 5 minutes before post time, you want to change something or get an extra bet down off looks or whatever it might be, a tip you get, and the lines are incredibly long. There's only a one deep line at your own computer, so you've got that as a backup option too, even if you are at the track or at Keeneland. So best of luck with all your wagers. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach. This is the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.